Testing, testing, one, two, three. Let's see. And we have liftoff. My goodness, I have been trying to record with these microphones for about 40 minutes, and I actually was going to give up because I was starting to think it was the universe telling me not to. And I need to also address something. I'm wearing the same dress again for the third time. I don't know what sort of synchronicity this is that I end up wearing this dress every time I'm doing the podcast. How can you blame me? It's like Pride and Prejudice vibes and the sun's out and it's like a little spring summery little vibe. And so I just thought, so today I want to explore something that's quite personal to me, yet universal. And I'm re recording to try and do it a bit more justice and to explain that I'm actually coming from a place of hope, not a place of division or judgment. And I'm coming from a place of understanding. And that is the idea of Christ consciousness. Something that has been more prevalent in my life lately. And my mum has even written a book about it that she's wanting to publish. And so it's been the topic of conversation. And also, I think, in light of everything that's been happening in the world and everything that's been coming to light and truths that are being exposed, I think it's probably just more needed. And that's probably why I've seen a lot more people recently turning to religion and particularly Christianity. And I think that is so, so beautiful. I really do. Whether it's, through my algorithm, people all over the world, I'm just hearing about it more lately, whether that's people within my community, friends, family, it's everywhere. Everybody is trying to turn to something more positive because the root of it all is that people are searching for safety and truth and guidance and faith and meaning, right? Something to hold on to, especially when there are dark times. And that's something that we all want at some point in our lives. That is something that we all crave. I just think it's really beautiful that people are turning to something that brings them that, you know? However, alongside that, I've also been noticing something else, and that is a lot of fear and a lot of judgment and a lot of separation, where spirituality is being labeled as wrong or even demonic. I've actually heard people say that, and I see it quite a lot on social media, simply because it doesn't sit inside a specific belief system, I feel. And I just want to gently open up a different perspective, not to challenge anyone and not to say that anything is wrong, but just to invite a little bit of expansion and open people's minds a little bit. Because when you really sit with it, so many of the things that are labeled as spiritual are actually just human nature. They are natural, they are ancient, and they are rooted in the earth. For example, connecting with nature, tree hugging, grounding, putting your feet on the grass, touching a tree, using herbs, being in tune with your body. Sorry, my bracelet's probably not that mic then. Being in tune with your body, listening to your own body, listening to your intuition, understanding energy. Everything is energy. These things aren't dark. They are not something to fear. They are things that have existed long before modern systems were put in place. I cannot say it any other way than it is natural. Throughout history, a lot of things have been filtered and a lot of things have been rewritten and a lot has been removed from what we know as fact today. A lot has been removed from the educational system and our histories and our textbooks and our Bibles. So what we see today isn't always the full picture. I just want to put that out there. But I don't want to get caught up in what's being taken out or what's being changed or what has been controlled, because I would quite literally be here for 3 weeks. I think the more important question that I want to focus on is the core message, because when we strip everything back, whether you look at religion, spirituality, personal development, psychology, they all point to something very similar. They all point to love. They all point to awareness. They all point to compassion. They all point to presence and connection, community, love, respect. And this is where I feel the idea of Christ consciousness comes in, not as a religion and not as something to worship externally, but as a way of being. To me, Christ consciousness is not about worshipping something outside of you. It's about embodying something within you. It's about your choice to choose love over fear, to understand over judgment, to be compassionate and choose compassion over control or presence over reaction, to choose to be a good person, to choose to transcend and lead with love and have love for every single being on this earth, no matter what, without prejudice, right? Which is the hardest thing to do, which is why that level of consciousness is so hard for the average human being to gain. But if you look at the life of Christ, whether you believe in him as a literal figure or symbolically, the message was never about division. It was never about, I am right and you are wrong. It was about unity. It was about love. It wasn't about worship. It was about showing people what is possible when you live from that place and the power within you. There is love within you. The kingdom is within you. And how that level of consciousness can help guide you in your life. And I think somewhere along the way, that message has been externalized and turned into something to follow rather than something to embody. It's become a thing to do rather than something to be. It separates us from that intuition and that power within and that higher self. And look, if religion is healing you and supporting you and guiding you and giving you a space to feel all of those beautiful things like joy and love and connection and community, that is beautiful. Genuinely, I am so happy for you that you have found that. And from a humble place, I will listen and sit with you and talk to anybody who is in that space and be open-minded as to what your experience is. I'm just speaking of my opinion, and that is that it doesn't have to be everybody's path, and that doesn't make other paths wrong. We are all finding our way back to the same place, just through different routes, I believe. And I think that what we're being called into now collectively is less judgment, less fear, and less this is right, this is wrong, and more understanding. Because the highest state that we can live in is love. And not in a surface level way, but in a way where we don't feel the need to convince, to discuss, to make you feel inferior. if you are not on that path. We don't feel the need to judge, don't feel the need to convince, don't feel the need to separate ourselves from others, where we can look at someone else's path and say, that's not mine, but I'm so glad that it's helping you. That to me is the beginnings of Christ consciousness. It's not about being perfect and it's not about always getting it right. It's about continually choosing to rise above fear, to transmute judgment, and to return to love, and not to look down on others who you believe they don't know yet. They don't know what I know yet, and they will soon. Or they should. They should do this because I did it and it did this for me. Detaching yourself from that notion allows you to stay focused on your journey, on you. You are you. That is your life. Trying to aim for that level of Christ consciousness and returning to love and transmuting judgment. When we do that, we stop creating division. We stop feeding narratives of us versus them. We stop seeing the world in black and white. We stop seeing it as good and evil. Yes, there will always be duality. Yes, there will always be bad in the world. But for the good, we don't need the good to be separated or divided. If we're all just trying to be good people, whether you're doing it through religion, whether you're doing it through spirituality, whether you're doing it through the journey of self, whether you're doing it through psychology, whether you're doing it just getting by day to day without any beliefs, and you're an atheist and you're just trying to be a good person, no matter how you're doing it, if we're all just trying to be good, we should not be divided in that. Let's stop feeding the narratives of us versus them and be a collective. And we start to see the truth, which is that we are all part of the same thing, the same energy, the same consciousness, just expressed in different ways and having individual paths. That's it. Everyone is on their own path. So, if there's one thing I'd invite you to take from this episode, it's this. If something is helping you to heal or to grow or to understand yourself or feel more connected, then it's serving a purpose. And it doesn't need to be right for everybody else to be right for you. And equally, someone else's path doesn't need to make sense to you for it to be right for them. We don't need more division. We need more understanding, more openness, more love. And we need to embody the values of near enough every religion at its core, to treat others how you would want to be treated. Judgment-free, with love, more openness, more love. Because when we rise into that, when we choose that, we are living in a higher state of consciousness. And Christ consciousness is the highest consciousness available to us. And maybe that's the point there. I think that's it. Anyway, I love you all so much, no matter what you follow. Whether you're a witch, whether you're following a religion, whether you're an atheist, whether you're agnostic, whether you're scientific, whether you're an astrologer, whatever it is, I love you all so much. See you in the next episode. Maybe in this dress again, I don't know.